No spells, EJ. My name's Luke Mills. A lot of you know me, a lot of you don't, but I kind of get to meet all of you today, and all of you get to learn a little bit about me today. And I'm really excited to just kind of speak with you about my thoughts and the things that have been on my heart since Tyler approached me and asked if I would speak today. She posed me with the question, is Dr. King's reality realized? Is his dream realized, rather? I say in a lot of ways, yes, his dream has been realized. For example, I cannot imagine a more loving, accepting place than Baker University for me to learn and grow over this past semester and in the semesters to come. I look out on all of your faces, and so many of you I know and love, and so many of you have shown love for me, and I couldn't be more grateful for that. But I realize that I do come from a different background, a different perspective than a lot of you, than EJ, all of us sort of come from different backgrounds. So I'm not going to pretend that prejudice and prejudicial thinking do not exist still today, and I have not walked a day in the shoes of a lot of the minority groups that are oppressed, a lot of the individuals that are oppressed in different ways by society. So I say, yes, his dream has been realized, but I believe in the potential for progress. Always have potential for progress. If you know me, you know that I don't see things as black or white, as yes or no. I see things in a lot of ways as varying shades of all different colors. So, for example, pertaining to our college campus, I think that prejudicial thinking exists in the form of stereotypes. And I know that a lot of you on campus, for example, see me across campus, coming down, wearing my green pants, or whatever. You think, man, that's Luke. And he must be a redhead. You would be right. And we are an underappreciated minority group. No, I'm kidding. I just wanted to lighten it a little. I know that there are probably people on Baker's campus who are judged for being of a certain race or religion or sexual orientation or ethnic background. I know in a lot of ways people who are athletes are stereotyped, or people who are in sororities and fraternities are stereotyped. People who are not in sororities and fraternities are stereotyped. I'm having a little bit of dry mouth right now. It's okay, we're gonna make it through. And I think that in a lot of ways this is natural thinking for humans. But I think that's exactly what it is, that it's human thinking. I went to a church recently where the pastor shared a message about the idea that humans are empty vessels, that we have no capabilities, really, until we let God fill us with purpose. We really are all empty vessels. No matter what color your skin is, no matter what your sexual orientation, really no matter what your religion is, or your background, we're all empty. We're all empty in the image of God. And I just kind of ask that you don't let stereotypical human thinking, prejudicial human thinking, limit that purpose, that you just let God fill you with your purpose, because you'll be amazed at what you can do.
I was standing perhaps 15 yards behind him, off to one side, so I could see the vast crowd in front of him, but more importantly, I could see enough of his profile to register that he was smiling.
The hum of excitement died down, and a hush fell over the crowd.
It was time for the closing address.
The people who made the sojourn to the march knew his words would give them a direction.
Clarence Jones served as draft speechwriter and political advisor to Martin Luther King Jr.
In a book called Behind the Dream, Jones observes the artistry of King's masterpiece delivered on that hot August day 50 years ago.
The Baker University Speech Choir presents a view on that historic moment from behind the scenes.
I did not know what he was going to say. I hadn't had a chance to review how he had incorporated my suggestions.
Martin offered a traditional greeting to the people assembled.
Brothers and sisters, I am here to join you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in our nation.
I listened carefully to Martin's words as he moved into the body of the speech.
Martin's philosophies and worldview were the wellspring of all the original thinking that went into the leadership of the movement.
The nonviolent approach to protesting,
The idea that it is in the majority's own best interest that Negroes achieve equality.
And the economic tool of boycotting.
Are all examples.
There were dozens of ideas, but a manageable number.
The challenge was the need to review the concepts anew for each particular audience or speaking opportunity.
We had to thread the right ones together, like pearls on a strand.
In an earlier speech, he had used an analogy of his dream of a free, united land.
On the eve of the march, however, he was thinking that he would not have time to revisit the dream at this rally.
but on the Lincoln Memorial steps, as he was making his way through about the 7th paragraph of the speech, he paused.
This was not unusual. The hesitations and breaks were all part of his oratory process, the rhythms he had mastered at the pulpit.
Yet in this split second of silence,
Something historic.
And unexpected happened.
Mahalia Jackson shouted to him from the organizer's stand.
She called out.
Tell him about the dream, Martin! Tell him about the dream!
Not many people heard her.
But I did.
And so did Martin.
Martin clutched the podium, leaned back, and looked at the crowd assembled in front of the Lincoln Memorial.
I had an instant to wonder what was about to take place.
Then I watched Martin push the text of his prepared remarks to one side of the lectern.
He shifted gears in a heartbeat and forgot about whatever speech he had written the night before.
Observing this from my perch, I knew he had just put himself in Mahalia's hands, given himself over to the spirit of that moment.
I leaned over and said to the person standing next to me,
These people out there don't know it yet, but they're about ready to go to church.
From his body language and the tone in his voice, I knew Martin was about to transform into the superb Baptist preacher he was.
Then, honoring Mahalia's request, Martin spoke those famous words.
I have a dream.
And so, in an instant, Martin saw the opportunity in front of him.
He saw it through Mahalia's eyes.
I have often said that the sheer processing power of Martin's mind has left me awestruck.
He could remember exact phrases from several of his unrelated speeches and discover a new way of linking them together.
and he could do it on the fly.
Like the finest stage performers, he could do it and live in the moment of his words with his entire being, moving everything in the right direction and visibly.
We started with a solid foundation, but Martin Luther King Jr. was about to bring a game-changing artistry to the closing of the march.
A different man could not have delivered this meditation on freedom. I can hear him now.
I still have a dream.
It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia,
I have a dream that one day, even a state of Mississippi.
I have a dream that my 4 little children,
I have a dream today.
And on he went, building and building on this handful of simple words.
Yet adding another layer of meaning.
And he improvised it all. It was hypnotic.
Each time Martin told us that he had a dream, the world was pulled one step closer inside of it.
I'd never seen anything like it.
the crowd was rapt. I was charged with a feverish kind of love for my friend.
By the time Martin quoted "My country 'tis of thee," I figured you could measure the tears of joy in the crowd by the gallon.
and when he ended with the refrain from the spiritual that predated the Emancipation Proclamation,
The dizzy sense of history
Both past and future.
struck me with full force.
Free at last! Free at last!
now know I had witnessed something beyond my wildest expectations.
Everyone on the mall and millions watching their TV sets were aware they had experienced something transcendent.
The I Have a Dream speech was 1 minute long, yet it already felt timeless.
Martin had reached deep, and with a prod in the right direction from the angelic Mahalia Jackson,
Come up with a way to paint a portrait of how it felt to be black in America.
He had riffed like a masterful jazz soloist.
His words ignited the spark.
That Mahalia had struck.